Hello, welcome back to another FPL video. We're currently in the middle of game week 17, but as always, we're going to be looking ahead to the next FPL game week 18, where a lot of people, including myself, are going to be hitting that free hit button. So I thought I'd take a quick look today at a first draft, some ideas going into game week 18. If you're new around here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, obviously, if you do enjoy the video, and let's get straight on into this one. So before I actually do get into the discussion of the team, I do quickly want to mention that this team was built around a team value of sort of 101 to 102 million, as I feel like most people will have that sort of team value or money to be working with. Obviously, I will discuss options where you can kind of go up or you can go down. So here we've got the defence for the free hit team. In goal, we've got Carl Darlow for Newcastle. Now, although Newcastle haven't been the best kind of defensive side this season, Sheffield United have the worst goals scored in the Premier League so far. Also, they've had the worst ever start to a Premier League campaign. So Sheffield United are definitely a team that I want to target in terms of FPL. So going for a double up on the Newcastle defence isn't too bad of an idea in my opinion. Also, Carl Darlow has been very good for save points, so we can probably expect him to get a clean sheet here, plus a couple of save points and maybe some bonus points as well. If you don't fancy going with the double up for Newcastle, then you've got the likes of Vicente Guaita and Bernd Leno for Crystal Palace and Arsenal playing against each other. But if you pick one of those keepers, you probably lean towards Leno for 4.9 million, very similar value to Darlow. In terms of Clark, he's just a 4.5 million defender who we know is definitely going to start for Newcastle. I've seen some people put Lewis into the side, however Lewis hasn't really been playing too much football of late. We've seen Matt Ritchie come into that Newcastle left back spot quite a bit of late, so I think Jamal Lewis is just too much of a rotation risk for me, and Clark for only 0.2 million more will definitely be playing and has actually scored this season and looks very dangerous on set pieces as well. So Kieran Clark is a pretty decent option, I think, for this coming week in your FPL free hit team. Then in terms of the other defenders, we've got Ruben Dias in there for Manchester City. I think he's been a great option so far this season, playing in pretty much every single game since he joined Manchester City. It seems like Pep's really kind of building that defence around him at 5.7 million or soon to be 5.8 million. I think he's one to definitely look out for. I do think that Cancelo is a better option than Dias for kind of like a one game week punt. However, we don't really know what's going on with Kyle Walker. If news comes out that Kyle Walker won't be playing in this game, then I think Cancelo is a great option to go for, because how he's not got more attacking returns, I do not know. He's good for bonus points as well, Cancelo. So I think, yeah, if we know, if news that comes out that Kyle Walker isn't going to play, then I think Cancelo is definitely a good option. If news comes out that Kyle Walker is kind of well and can play, then Cancelo may get a bench, because you know he's definitely due a benching considering Pep's roulette. So Diaz, we know, will definitely be playing. And then we've got Bailly there filling up the third defender spot. He's come into that Manchester United defence since Lindelof has been injured and performed very well in my opinion. That kind of partnership of Bailly and Maguire works a lot better than Lindelof and Maguire, just because Bailly has a lot of pace, and next to Maguire you really need a defender who has a lot of pace, as Maguire is very good in the air, he's very good on the ball, but just doesn't have that kind of recovery speed that Bailly has. So he'll come in there. And Manchester United should really be keeping a clean sheet against Burnley, who, as I say, you know, Sheffield United have scored the least amount of goals, while Burnley are only one behind them. So you can really be expecting a Manchester United clean sheet. And also going back to the goalkeeper, if you can get David De Gea in there for Carl Darlow, I think that's a good shout as well. Bailly's also been very good for bonus points when Manchester United do keep a clean sheet, so definitely one to put in the team and a good option into that Manchester United defence. The cheapest option, but also a very good one for bonus points as well. And then the two kind of filler defensive spots, we've got Mitchell and Vokins. Vokins is literally just there as a 3.9 filler spot. Mitchell's also 3.9 mil, but we have seen him start to kind of get back into that Palace team over Van Aanholt. And I will also say that with regards to your bench, because of all that kind of games being called off because of COVID, I don't think it's a bad idea to have a bench for the free hit. I know people go into free hits like, oh, you don't really need a bench because, you know, you're just picking the starting 11. However, because, you know, we don't know whether a game's going to go ahead or not, I don't think it's a bad idea to have a bench going into this kind of free hit game week. And I think Mitchell is a decent one to have there, because he most likely will start against Arsenal, probably pick up 2 points, but at least it's a player who's starting. And that being said as well, going back to the goalkeeper once again, with Manchester City, Ederson is currently out due to illness. If Ederson stays out, or we hear news that he's definitely going to stay out for that Brighton game, then I think Stefan will know by tomorrow anyway, will come in against Chelsea. If we see that he's coming against Chelsea, then he's a 4.4 mil goalkeeper option for Manchester City. So I think that's a very, very good option to have there as well. Then taking a look at the midfield, and we've got three of the kind of main big hitters in the midfield: Son, Fernandes and De Bruyne. I think those three are going to be in pretty much everyone's team. You could potentially go for Raheem Sterling over De Bruyne. It's the kind of like open play XG versus, open play XG with penalties that De Bruyne does have. I'm leaning myself more toward De Bruyne. I just think he's such a good player, and just the potential, the way he plays in every single game. I just love watching him play and love having him as an FPL asset. So for me, De Bruyne just about pips it over Sterling, but it is close, and all respect to you if you do decide to go for Sterling. Obviously Fernandes in there as well. He's going to be in everybody's teams, I do think. Most likely going to be my captain as well. Been returning so well all season, and yeah, not really much more to say other than Fernandes is a great option. And Son as well. Son been an absolutely great option so far this season on FPL. Just banged in a goal and got an assist against Leeds, and there's no reason that he can't go into this Aston Villa game and grab himself another goal. Then we've kind of got the more kind of differential spot. Smith Rowe is in there as a filler player. As I said before with Mitchell, it's good to have playing players on the bench. Smith Rowe has seemingly got himself a starting spot in that Arsenal side, and he's been playing pretty well. So for 4.4 million, I think he's just there on the bench, going to do a job, most likely pick up a 2-pinter. But you never know, starting in an attacking position for Arsenal, we've seen him pick up an assist, so he could go and do something. This Pedro Neto spot is really where the kind of rotation comes in, depending on how much money you do have in the bank or what your team value is. I've got Pedro Neto in there, and this kind of makes the team up to about 101 to 102 mil. Pedro Neto sitting at 6 mil, playing against Everton, and Everton, to be fair to them, have definitely shored up a lot more of late in terms of at the back. However, they still look a little bit leaky, and that did show in the last few minutes against West Ham. But in terms of going forward, Wolves have looked quite good going late, and Pedro Neto is definitely like a very good part of that for Wolves. You could also go for Podence in there, although he's a little bit more of a rotation risk. We see that Neves is on penalty, so you could go for him or Traore. But out of kind of those lot for Wolves, I do really like Pedro Neto. In terms of going up and down in price, if you want to go down in price, you can go for Bukayo Saka for Arsenal. He looks like a very good option. He picked up a bit of a knock last week, so we'll see whether he plays, but he most likely will start. And if he does start, I think he is a very good option going into that Crystal Palace match. And if you go up, if you go the other way, I think that Jack Grealish looks like a really good option. If you've got the money, I think I'm just about going to have the money, so I think I'm going to go with Jack Grealish against Spurs. And yes, Spurs have been a bit better defensively. However, Aston Villa going forward look unbelievable. Jack Grealish, I mean, he looks like he can do something in every game. I've said it so much, but it's true. He picked up an assist in the Manchester United game and also got himself 2 bonuses as well, which kind of shows you how well he sort of was playing in that game, the amount of dribbles completed, the kind of successful or key chances that he was creating is unbelievable. So even if he does get an assist, we could see him pick up sort of 7 or 8 points in that game. So I think Jack Grealish, for me, if you've got the money, a great option. But if you can't, the likes of Pedro Neto, the likes of Sacco can come in there as well. And then finally, moving on to the attack, which is where kind of the Pedro Neto spot creates the budget in order to get these kind of big boy attackers. We've got Callum Wilson in there, as I discussed, targeting Sheffield. I watched the Sheffield United game against Crystal Palace, and even in the first few minutes throughout the game, Sheffield United did not look very good defensively. So Callum Wilson comes in there for Newcastle on penalties as well. I think he's a great option for this game. If you can't quite afford Callum Wilson, Yo Linton doesn't look too bad for Newcastle either. However, I do much prefer Callum Wilson. I was kind of debating at one point going with kind of like a Joe Linton plus Callum Wilson double up compared to having the Newcastle United defence, but I favoured the Newcastle United defence over the Joe Linton and Callum Wilson double up. Then we also have Harry Kane as well, and I do not think there is going to be a free hit team without Harry Kane and Son. I just don't see it happening. If you are going without one of those players, fair play to you, but you're going to be holding your breath for the whole of that Spurs game. So I think Kane and Son, they just look unbelievable. Obviously in the Leeds game, they both picked up an assist and a goal. So yeah, those guys look unbelievably good, and I think I would 100% I'm going to have those two going in to the Aston Villa game. And then the final striker spot is picked up by Martial. Now, I do actually prefer Rashford over Martial, but if you want to kind of get the team, it creates a much more well-rounded team if you do go for Martial. And the fact that Cavani has picked up that 3-match ban means that Martial will be starting this game, most likely picking up 90 minutes as well. And he did score in the previous game against Aston Villa, so there's no reason that he can't go away to Burnley and grab a goal, maybe grab an assist, link up with Bruno Fernandes. That'd be nice. But yeah, I think Martial looks like a pretty decent option for the Burnley game, and is definitely one to consider for your FPL free hit teams. Thank you for watching this FPL free hit game week 18 little preview first draft. Obviously, I'm going to be making my free hit team over the coming weeks, constantly tinkering about taking players in, moving them out, so on, so on. So nothing is firm, so I will probably do an updated draft, obviously dependent on COVID, dependent on kind of team news, updates, so on, so on. I will say it's a very good idea to keep your free hit, or don't play your free hit until the day before the deadline, because, you know, if the Premier League come out and say that they're going to introduce a circuit breaker, then if you've hit your free hit already, then that free hit is gone. It's completely gone. So I won't be hitting my free hit until the day of, or until the day before the deadline, just to make sure we have all the up-to-date news. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new around here, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.